The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg explores the science of habits, uncovering how they form, why they are so powerful, and how we can change them. The book delves into the psychology and neuroscience behind habits, offering insights into how individuals, organizations, and societies can harness the power of habits to achieve positive change. The habit loop. At the heart of Duhigg's exploration of habits is the concept of the habit loop, which consists of three components. Cue, the trigger that initiates the habit. This can be anything from a time of day, a specific location, an emotional state, or the presence of certain people. The cue is what tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. Routine, the behavior or action that follows the cue. This is what we typically think of as the habit itself. It can be a physical action, like brushing your teeth, a mental routine, like replaying a conversation in your head, or an emotional response. Reward, the benefit you gain from the routine. Rewards can be tangible, like a piece of chocolate, or intangible, like a feeling of accomplishment. The reward is what reinforces the habit loop, making it more likely that you will perform the routine again in the future. Duhigg explains that understanding and manipulating the habit loop is the key to changing habits. By identifying the cues and rewards that drive a habit, you can modify the routine to create a new habit that leads to the same reward. The science behind habits. Duhigg delves into the science behind habits, explaining how they are formed in the brain. Habits are driven by a part of the brain called the basal ganglia, which stores and recalls habits and routines. The brain creates habits as a way to save energy. By automating certain behaviors, the brain can focus on more complex tasks. This process of habit formation is essential for learning and efficiency, but it also means that once a habit is formed, it can be difficult to change, even if it is no longer beneficial. The brain's reliance on habits is so strong that even when the original cue or reward is removed, the habit can persist. Keystone habits. One of the most important concepts in the book is that of keystone habits. These are habits that have a ripple effect, influencing other areas of your life. For example, Duhigg discusses how exercising regularly can lead to other positive changes, such as improved eating habits, increased productivity, and reduced stress. Keystone habits are powerful because they create a chain reaction that can help you develop other good habits. By focusing on changing a keystone habit, you can set off a cascade of positive changes in your life. Duhigg emphasizes that identifying and focusing on these keystone habits can be a highly effective strategy for achieving lasting personal and organizational change. The role of willpower. Willpower is another critical element in the formation and maintenance of habits. Duhigg explains that willpower functions like a muscle. It can be strengthened with practice, but it can also become fatigued if overused. People who develop strong willpower are better at maintaining good habits and avoiding bad ones. However, willpower alone is not enough to sustain a habit change. It must be coupled with an understanding of the habit loop and a strategy for altering it. Duhigg points out that willpower can be depleted by stress, fatigue, or other factors, making it essential to create environments and routines that support your goals, rather than relying solely on willpower. Habits in organizations. The power of habit also explores how habits function in organizations and societies. Duhigg provides examples of how companies have used the principles of habit formation to their advantage. For instance, he describes how Starbucks trains employees to handle stressful situations using the habit loop. By identifying the cue, a stressful customer interaction, the routine, a calm scripted response, and the reward, a satisfied customer and a sense of accomplishment, Starbucks helps its employees develop habits that improve customer service. Duhigg also discusses how companies like Alcoa have focused on keystone habits to drive organizational change. When Paul O'Neill became CEO of Alcoa, he focused on improving worker safety, a keystone habit that led to broader improvements in efficiency and profitability. By changing one critical habit, O'Neill was able to transform the entire company. Social movements and habits beyond individual and organizational habits, Duhigg examines how habits influence social movements. He argues that successful social movements rely on the same principles of habit formation, creating strong community ties, establishing clear cues and rewards, and focusing on keystone habits that drive collective action. Duhigg uses the example of the civil rights movement, particularly the Montgomery bus boycott, to illustrate this point. The boycott was successful not just because of the moral leadership of figures like Martin Luther King Jr., but also because it tapped into the social habits of the community. The movement created a new habit loop, with the cue being the discrimination faced by African Americans, the routine being the boycott, and the reward being the sense of solidarity and progress towards equality. Changing habits. One of the most practical aspects of the power of habit is its focus on how to change habits. Duhigg provides a step-by-step framework for altering habits, which involves identifying the routine. The first step is to identify the routine, the behavior you want to change. This could be anything from smoking to procrastinating to overeating. Experimenting with rewards. Next, experiment with different rewards to understand what you are really craving. For example, if you have a habit of snacking in the afternoon, try replacing the snack with a walk or a conversation with a friend to see if it satisfies the same craving. Isolating the cue. The third step is to isolate the cue. Duhigg suggests keeping track of the immediate circumstances surrounding the habit, such as the time, location, emotional state, and other people present, to identify what triggers the behavior. Creating a plan. Finally, create a plan for how you will respond to the cue with a new routine that delivers a similar reward. This might involve replacing a cigarette with gum, substituting a walk for a snack, or scheduling specific times for work to avoid procrastination. Duhigg emphasizes that habit change is not easy, but it is possible with the right approach. By understanding the habit loop and using it to your advantage, you can develop new positive habits and break free from negative ones. Conclusion: the power of habit is a compelling exploration of the science behind habits and their profound impact on our lives. Charles Duhigg reveals how habits are formed, how they can be changed, and how they influence everything from individual behavior to organizational success and social movements. By understanding the habit loop and the role of cues, routines, and rewards, we can take control of our habits and, by extension, our lives. Duhigg's insights into keystone habits, willpower, and the broader social implications of habits provide a powerful framework for anyone looking to make lasting changes, whether on a personal, organizational, or societal level. Ultimately, the power of habit teaches us that while habits are powerful, they are not destiny. With awareness and effort, we can reshape our habits and, in doing so, transform our lives for the better.